Welcome everybody back to Woogie's Corner. Good to be back. Good to see you again. And we just finished about a month and a half vacation. We were down in Texas and Florida, Nevada and California and everywhere. We were kind of visiting friends and family and kind of a vacation. It was a lot of fun. So it's kind of nice to get back to doing my regular videos. I did some travel log stuff kind of on the trip, and you can check that out on YouTube if you want. So today we're going to back into the musical genre again, and what we're going to do is we're going to dissect a song, and we're going to look at it from a little different point of view. And I picked a song that's been one of my favorites for many years. Back when I was a professional musician on the road, bands I was in, we used to cover this song all the time, and it was written by the celebrated songwriter Mr. Jimmy Webb, that went on to write stuff like Wichita Lineman, of course By the Time I Get to Phoenix, MacArthur's Park for Richard Harris. You remember that one? And he also wrote one for the Fifth Dimension back in the day. I think it was 1964, called Up, Up and Away on My Beautiful Balloon, which I was kind of surprised to find that out. But anyway, he wrote this song that I want to kind of take apart today. And it was recorded by the late, great GLEN CAMPBELL. And the song is called By the Time I Get to Phoenix. And for those of you who don't know the song or need a little refresher, I'm going to play a little bit of, I have a band track that I crafted myself to stay away from infringement problems. And I'll just do a little bit of it just so to bring you up to speed. By the time I get to Phoenix, she'll be rising. She'll find that note I left hanging on her door. She'll laugh when she reads that part that says I'm leaving, because I've left that girl so many times before. Okay, you got the picture. By the time I get to Phoenix. So anyway, we're going to have a good look at this thing. Let's start from the beginning. By the time I get to Phoenix. Okay, get to Phoenix. Now this is written from the guy's perspective. He's in a relationship with a gal. And he doesn't really tell us anything about himself very much. So, in fact, he doesn't really tell us about any of it, but we have to kind of put it together. This is the mark of good songwriting, is when you can paint a picture but leave out a lot, so the viewer of the picture or the listener of the song can kind of put in their own pieces, because everybody's got their own version of this in their mind. So, okay, by the time I get to Phoenix, so let's see, Phoenix, where is he driving from? We'll assume where he's driving. We're going to make that assumption that he's not taking an airplane. He's either on the Greyhound or he's got a car. But I'll tell you what, just for general purposes, let's start with Las Vegas. So he's driving south, and he's heading toward, or southwest actually, or east, I'm sorry. He's going to Phoenix, Arizona. So by the time he gets to Phoenix, she'll be rising. Okay, she'll be rising. She's getting up. And then what? Well, she finds that note that he left hanging on her door. Now, there's an interesting statement right off the bat. He found the note that he left. She'll find the note that he left hanging on her door. I find that extremely interesting, folks, because it wasn't their door. It's not his door. It's her door. What's this mean? Well, this just maybe means that it's her apartment, her house. Okay, so now what happens? She'll laugh when she reads that part of the note that says, "I'm leaving." Wow, okay. And why would she laugh at that? What's so funny about that? People say that all the time. Well, let's put it this way. If your partner comes up to you or leaves you a note and said, "I'm leaving," you gonna laugh? Let's find out why. Because I've left that girl so many times before. So this isn't anything new. I guess this goes on often. All right. So meanwhile, she goes. She gets up, makes her coffee and breakfast, reads the note, and goes, "Huh, oh yeah, here we go again." So anyway, she gets ready for work. He's driving somewhere. So by the time I can make Albuquerque, now Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now I haven't even looked on a map, folks. I should do this. Should have done this before. But anyway, I believe you're going to be looking at south. You're going to be going south. It's going to be at least a day's drive, I would suspect, from Phoenix, Arizona to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Anyway, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below. But okay, he gets to Albuquerque, and then what's she going to be doing? Well, she'll be working. And then what? And she'll probably stop at lunch. And she'll give me a call. Now, I suspect this woman she's a professional lady. She's a manager, business owner, executive type. We don't know what he is, but we're getting a bit of a clue. It's her house. And she can't just break away whenever she feels like it to go use the phone unless she's working on some kind of assembly line or something, which is possible. But I suspect that she's a very strong woman. Anyway, so what does she do? She gives him a call. And then what happens? Well, she just hears that phone softly ringing. Off the wall. Ooh, that's all. Now she's beginning to wonder, maybe slightly. But he's done this before, folks. This isn't the first time this is going on. Okay, so she goes back to work. I suspect that maybe. Okay, let's do a little bit of a musical interlude for a second. Then we come back to. By the time I get to Oklahoma, holy smokes. Let's take a look on the map again here. If you went from Albuquerque, New Mexico to Oklahoma border, oh my God. I'm just going to take a rough guess here, folks. 1,500 mile. It's a 2-day drive. It's a big drive. So kind of blows our whole timeline thing out of the water sometimes when we get this idea. By the time I get to Phoenix, she'll be rising, and by the time I make Albuquerque, she'll be working. That is all happens in a day, 2 or a day and a half. No, I think we're looking at a few days here. So that means she finished the day working. She went home. He's not there. Oh, so she poured herself a glass of wine, made some supper, and oh, well, he's done this before, and, okay, so by the time I make Oklahoma, she'll be sleeping. Ooh, okay. Now, and we're going to have to take an educated guess here of maybe 2 or 3 days have gone by. And I'm suspecting he's never been gone that long. Now, let's just back up here for a second, because we don't even know sure who this guy is. He mentions nowhere in the song about leaving his job or his family or anything like that. There's no mention of that. I mean, I suspect that she's the breadwinner. She's the one with the drive and the money, and he could be the pool guy for all we know. We don't know who he is. But anyway, so where were we? By the time I make Oklahoma, she'll be sleeping. Now, by this time, it's starting to dawn on her, And why do we know that? Because she'll cry just to think that I'd really leave her. And why is that? Because he says, time and time again, I've tried to tell her so. But she just didn't know. She just didn't know. Why didn't she just know? Well, either he's doing a lousy job of getting the point across, or she's just not listening, and that's why I suspect she's kind of hard-headed. And a strong woman, and he's not outwardly that strong, but I think she genuinely cares for him, and but he just can't take it anymore. I guess I don't know, disagreements over this or that, or lifestyle, or who knows, because the song doesn't tell us. And then she'll cry just to think I'd really leave her. Well, yeah, I've tried to tell her so, and she's not. She just didn't know. She just didn't know. And I would really go. After all, everything he tried to do to let her know, and the many times he's left before, she just didn't know that he would really go. So kind of almost makes you suspect that when he said, I'm leaving, I left that girl so many times before. Yeah, he went for the afternoon or maybe even overnight, but that's about it. Now, there's a little bit of a backstory here, and the reason I'm kind of starting this story in Vegas, because the truth part of this whole thing is Jimmy Webb, the writer. He was a young man, and he was living in Sacramento at the time, and he was dating a young lady that they had known each other since high school days. And her name was Susan Horton. And apparently it was a very off-again, on-again kind of relationship, almost like the song. And she used to take off and get mad and all pissy and leave and come back and all this stuff. But they'd known each other for years. He really cared for this gal, and he had plans for her. Well, she gets all pissy one day, and this is the truth, and she took off to Lake Tahoe, Nevada, up at Lake Tahoe on the Nevada side, and she got a job as a dancer. Well, folks, I don't know whether we would have to have much imagination to figure out what kind of dancer that was. I don't think he was ballet, let's put it that way. But anyway, this really shook Jimmy up. He cared for this gal, and when she went and did that, he had a tough time with it. And it was right around this time that he wrote this song. And I think what happened, a writer will take everyday situations, and that's what they do. They write about them. They create stories and poems and books and songs and movies and Lord knows what from sometimes everyday things. And I think what he did is he switched places by the time I get to Phoenix. Or better, or it could be by the time she gets to Lake Tahoe, she'll be rising, or I'll be rising. And she'll find that note, or I'll find that note that she left hanging on my door, you know. So I think what he did was did a little switch stuff here. He uh, he put himself in her position instead of her being the one that was leaving and doing it. He was in the song. And I'm thinking, I'm kind of, Lake Tahoe, Nevada, gambling, liberal laws, morality laws, so to speak, and Las Vegas. That's how I tied the two together. And I'm thinking, okay. Anyway, they never did get back together. She ended up marrying somebody else, and he ended up moving on. But that's where this came from. Now, this song was originally written in 1965. He was had become a staff writer for Johnny Rivers' publishing company. And actually, Johnny Rivers actually covered this song, but it never really went anywhere until Glen Campbell came along and did it. And it became a monster hit. The third most popular song performed in the world, believe it or not. Even Frank Sinatra said, it's probably the best torch song ever written. Wow. Okay. Anyway, that's the story of By the Time I Get to Phoenix. I don't think I've left anything out. Now you know the rest of the story, and as you also know, I like to do little ditties, so I'll tell you what, we're going to do this song and give it a try here. So thank you all for watching. Oh, before we do that, I'm going to have to push my book again. There it is, folks. Rattlesnakes, Airplanes, and Gold. And it's still available on Amazon.com. And I sure appreciate you purchasing the book. It helps me out, helps out the channel. And also do the like and subscribe routine. I really do appreciate that. It all helps, believe me. Okay, until next time, I'm going to be dredging up some more stories for you about interesting things like this. So let's do this thing. By the time I get to Phoenix, she'll be rising. She'll find that note I left hanging on her door, and she'll laugh when she reads that part that says I'm leaving, because I've left that girl so many times before. By the time I make Albuquerque, she'll be working. She'll probably stop at lunch and give me a call, but she'll just hear that phone keep on ringing off the wall. Oh, that's all. She'll just hear that phone keep on ringing off the wall. Oh, that's all. By the time I make Oklahoma, she'll be sleeping. She'll turn softly she'll call my name out low. She'll cry just to think that I would really leave her. And though time and time again I've tried to tell her so, she just didn't know. That I would really go. I would really go. Okay, folks. I thank you so much for watching this episode of Woogie's Corner and the story of the time by the time I get to Phoenix. And I've got more for you coming down at you along the way. So take care and thanks, and see you later.